Did we just see the greatest ending to SummerSlam history? Did we just see the greatest live match that we've ever been seen before? Have we just seen one of the best SummerSlams of all time? We've got so much more to discuss and much more. There is a certain someone who it has been widely renowned would never step foot back inside of a WWE ring again. And in a space of about 5 minutes, and turning up at the end after what was an incredible championship match, the Beast is back. What an absolutely incredible ending to the show. What an absolute clue. We've got Zach again with another happy National Popcorn Day. Hope you are doing well, Zach. Thank you ever so much for coming in and letting us know another holiday that it's on. So thank you ever so much for popping in. Yes, what an incredible night. What an incredible show. Brock Lesnar is back inside of a WWE ring after what was being renowned that his contract was being terminated. I don't know the details. I have no clue of what's gone on, and I don't particularly care. All I know is that John Cena, one of his toughest competitors that he's ever gone up. If you see me looking over here, that is because I am currently watching the post show. If you're looking me over here, I am currently reading my notes that I wrote throughout the show. Hello, welcome. Yes, Cody Rhodes did pick up the victory. We will get into that and much, much more. Welcome, Stephen. Hope you're doing well. And Brock Lesnar is 100% back. One of John Cena's toughest ever opponents, hitting him with an F5 on his return. I can still remember back to that. I think it was Extreme Rules all those years ago where John Cena went toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. And I think Lesnar hit about 20 German suplexes to beat Cena in that match. What's next? I don't even know. The next one's Clash in Paris. I presume they're not going to do John Cena. They may do John Cena versus Brock Lesnar Clash in Paris. Is Brock Lesnar back now full time? Well, he won't be back full time. He will be on Brock Lesnar's schedule. What does this mean moving forward? Is this a one-time deal? Well, we're going to have to work that out, plus much, much more in the future. If you haven't already, down below, you will see a ticker. This is our local establishment. On one part of it, we're also on my channel as well, where we will be discussing things as well on Mark Talks Wrestling, where we will be discussing a lot more and going through each of the matches. And the whole show should last around about half an hour. But if you do have comments as well, and if you're in the chat, make sure you join along as well. Make sure that you talk along with us as well. Make sure you give us your ratings of each of the matches as well. We will be discussing that and much more. If you are watching this after the show, then please make sure that if you haven't already, make sure to punch that like button, smash a thumbs up. Also, as well, write in the comments as well your overall thoughts of SummerSlam Night 1 and Night 2 combined. And not only that, your thoughts on Night 2 of SummerSlam. It's very close for me, my mouth, to really get going. I'm very close to saying WrestleMania, but I'm not. A lot of talk in a short amount of time made me a bit thirsty. So, I'm not particularly. Also, I'm interested in what they do with the WWE 2K game now. He was banned. Is he now allowed back in? I'm trying to get the light to focus back on my face again. The reason why I haven't got the light above me on is one, it's too bright, as we just saw, and secondly as well, it's very late. It's nearly, as you can see there, it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning for me. So I am very, very tired. Right, let's get into the first match of the night. And it was the Women's Triple Threat Championship fight. As we will see here, this was between Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai in NXT. And I have to say, these women are absolutely fantastic. I thought every inch of this was absolutely brilliant. I thought the way that this match was done was absolutely tremendous. And I do think as well that this was absolutely brilliant. So it is interesting to see what we can do and going on from there. And it is also, as well, we are also looking at this match. And I did put this in a Discord when I was talking about this as well. And I did say that Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are very much the Lita and Trish Stratus of this era. The way that they complement each other, the way that they do things, and the way that they combine in the ring with each other is just so fluid and it just generational of outcome that this match could hold for future. Naomi had the perfect start to this match with her dad playing the guitar for her theme song for her to come down to the ring. We also had an absolutely tremendous start there for Naomi, who took on all the competitors, beat them all down, and then slowly Io Sky and Rhea Ripley were getting back into this. Very close pinfalls with Naomi saving her championship a couple of times. We've also got very close match as well between everyone. Anyone could have won this, but I do think the right person won in the end. Naomi, after a riptide that happened from the middle rope onto Io Sky, and then Naomi was able to climb back inside of the ring and do a roll up on the one and only Rhea Ripley to retain her WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship. The question is now, where do Io Sky and Rhea Ripley go on from there? You've got the storyline of Rhea Ripley wanting and having to beat Rhea Ripley, or Rhea Ripley wanting and having to beat Io Sky. You've got the Stephanie Vaquer, who will now go on to Clash in Paris at the end of August, where he will be going up against, where she will be going up against Naomi for the WWE Women's World Championship. And I thought this match overall, if you've watched this and you're in the comments, please put down in the comments down below your overall thoughts on this match and your rating for it. But for me, I'm going to give this match a good 4.8 out of 10. I think it was absolutely superb. I think this was absolutely pitch perfect. But there's always the little bits and pieces there for me that can always do better. But it was absolutely tremendous. And I will give this an incredible 4.9 out of 5. Next up, we've got the batshit crazy TLC 6-way tag team TLC match. The team of DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatt Six, Andrade, and Rey Fenix against Axiom and the former champions of the Street Profits. I have to say, this was perfection. It was batshit fucking crazy. There was one point a table shots where it was going around the corners of everywhere, doing table shots of they started off. Who was the first one who went through it? There was someone who went through it. It was Joe Gacy after the DDT from Johnny Gargano, and then it then flipped to Dexter Lumis jumping off the top, doing the leg drop, sending Montez Ford down. Then it went to the other side of that corner where Rey Fenix did a frog splash off the top and landed on top of I think it was. Wasn't it Nathan Fraser? And then you had the Spanish Fly from Axiom on Angelo Dawkins through 2 tables. And then we had the incredible spot of the women of Candice LeRae trying to help DIY. Then B-Fab coming in and trying to stop it, trying to help with her being on the Street Profit side. And then you had Nikki Cross, the lunatic, coming in to help with that as well. And then they all sort of just broke down at that point. And then in the most unfortunate event you could ever ask for, while Candice LeRae was trying to get it, Tommaso Ciampa got hit by Montez Ford, rolled back, hit the ladder, which spilled over, and she went through the ladder. We all know, if you've known the history of Candice LeRae, she does wacky, crazy, extreme spots like that before. She has no worries in doing this type of thing, and I think it's absolutely incredible to see Candice LeRae get that spot. It then moved on to the match and carried on from that as well. And it was, in the end, the Wyatt Six were able to pick up the victory. I think that one of the funniest parts for me, or the good part for me, was they lined up the ladder with Tommaso Ciampa holding onto the title belts, and it looked like Nathan Fraser was going to do the Jeff Hardy Edge spot from WrestleMania. In that TLC match they had many years ago. And I do think that it's the 25th anniversary of the first ever TLC match. Having 2 out of the 3, because Edge and Christian are in the enemy, the shithole AEW, but you have Bubba, the Dudley boys, who will be going up against the Hardys in a few weeks' time on a TNA live show, PLE. That will be happening, so looking forward to watching that for the one final time. And then the Wyatt Six picked up the victory, getting the titles, bringing it down, and it was an absolutely incredible spot there. And it will be interesting to see what happens from this and where it will go from there, and what will happen through the tag team division. Who knows? I think that SmackDown tag team division needs to be transferred over to Raw as well to try and get them going. But it is very much an absolutely incredible match. One of my tag team matches of the year. I think my match of the year is coming up later on in the show. But that was absolutely superb. We're now going to go into the next match, and it was for the Intercontinental Championship. 2 Irish lasses going toe to toe, fighting it out, going at each other, and it was the perfect way for, you had the batshit crazy, but this was controlled chaos. I'm currently seeing on my screen right now Dominik Mysterio, the greatest luchador of all time, who we will be talking about him a little bit later on in the show, but this was superb. And I will say this as well, Lyra Valkyria keeps proving me wrong every single time. I said that after Stand and Deliver, when she lost her NXT championship, I think it was to Roxanne Perez, or she lost the rematch to that was her ceiling. She couldn't get any better, couldn't get any further. And my God, has this woman proved me utterly, utterly wrong. And I am so glad that she has. There was points in this match, and I did write in here, at one point, Lyra was trying to kill Becky, and Becky literally tried to kill Lyra. They were both going at it, both going mental at each other, both beating the shit out of each other. And that's the way the Intercontinental Championship was made in the very first place. It was the way that it was done in the very first way of doing things in the men's Intercontinental. It was the workhorse championship. It was defended all the time, created for those people who couldn't get the world championship title shots, but there was a championship to help them. And I do feel like that was really delivered here. It was a shame that Bayley had to get involved. I'm not a massive fan of the storyline at this precise moment of Bayley. I am not enjoying that when she's come back. I think it's a little bit of her of a promo work. I'm not understanding what her thing is. I understand that she's a woman scorned from Becky after what she did at WrestleMania, but she's had plenty of opportunities to try and do something about it and hasn't done it. Now, once she cost Lyra Valkyria the match by smacking her head with the locks and the chains, with Becky Lynch able to roll her up. It was very much a bittersweet ending. Lyra Valkyria will now not be able to go after that Intercontinental Championship, but will be able to see probably Becky versus Bayley soon, and Lyra most probably going after that World Heavyweight Championship spot, and maybe trying to be a bit of a helper there to Naomi. Right, we are halfway through the show. We are halfway through. I'm going to give this a solid 4.5 out of 5. I think it was absolutely brilliant. It did everything it needed to do, and I thought that it was absolutely brilliant. If you're watching this on repeat, put in the comment down below your rating of this, and if you're watching this live, let me know in the comments why we have a little bit of an ad break. We are going to be showing you the calendar of what is coming up on our local establishment starting this week, going all of next week. It will be happening. So if you don't know about our local establishment, it is an absolutely incredible incredible show for everyone. There is a show mainly around everything. So if you are interested in any type of sport, any type of show, sports shows, we have wrestling content with different content creators talking about different things is absolutely superb. Right, without me waffling on anymore, let me show you exactly what is coming up.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin that I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of too loud. So tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat at time, I press the lens just to tell you, don't even wait, don't even say that I draw with a giant flame in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Thank you ever so much for that. Absolutely brilliant. Canada, I'm going to put a disclaimer now for a little bit later on, and I will also put a disclaimer later on as well. When we are discussing the Beast Incarnate, we will be discussing about the professional wrestler. We will not be discussing about anything happening outside of the ring as it's currently under dispute. We will not be talking about that. If there is any problem or backlash about us talking about the Beast Incarnate, please note that we will not be discussing any personal or anything that has happened. We will be discussing all things of the professional wrestler that is Brock Lesnar. Okay, moving on now, we now have the United States Championship steel cage match where we had Solo Sikoa going toe-to-toe against the Samoan werewolf of Jacob Fatu. I know one person would be very happy before this match happened. I don't think he would have been very happy after this, and that is Bobby the Money Munson, who is very much on a absolute massive cheer and a massive like cheerleader type thing for Jacob Fatu because of how great Jacob Fatu is. But to see him now be absolutely incredible. I didn't really get to know him until Bobby brought me over to him. But ever since he stepped foot in WWE, he has proven that he is going to be the next tribal chief. He is going to be the next holder of the Ulafala. He will be having his own bloodline very soon with Jimmy Uso. I'm predicting probably Jay Uso as well. I do think that Tama Tonga will be in his corner as well. Maybe Zelina Fatu if they decide to take a shot on him to bring him in his corner as well. There are so many bloodline members that could be even his own kids. He has 7 of them. Could be in his corner instead of getting other professional wrestlers. And what I will say is this match had it all. It was very much Jacob Fatu throwing everything at him and Solo Sikoa sort of taking it all. And then in the end, there was the most beautiful Samoan moonsault of all time from Jacob Fatu, who then hit that and he got kicked out for the very first time in WWE. Solo Sikoa is the first person able to kick out of the most beautiful Samoan moonsault of all time. That is absolutely incredible. And I have to say, going into that, and then there was a point of when there was the spike, Fatu was able to kick out of that. And then Tala Tonga was able to climb up the cage, grab Jacob Fatu, pin him down, handcuff him to the top of the cage, and then beat him down even more, which then the camera sort of clicked, but Michael Cole didn't click on it to what happened, but he sort of had his handcuff to the top and just smashed it clear. The strength of the Samoan werewolf to get rid of the handcuffs, but then Talatonga was able to help Solo Sikoa get out of the cage, which means that Solo Sikoa stays your United States champion, but that wasn't the end of it. Jimmy Uso, who tried to help during the match, was there at the end, super kicking JC Mateo and Tongaloa inside of the cage, and then it all just come down. He went to the most beautiful Samoan moonsault of all time, stopped himself, and then went up to the top of the cage and was able to flip off it and land on top of it. It was an absolutely incredible match, a very, very good match. I'm going to give it a 4. I think there was too much interference, but even though it's a bloodline match, I understand it. I just think it's got to a point now where Jacob is so over and so strong that they're trying to protect him a lot more. And you can tell that not losing clean whatsoever. And I think it's going to be interesting what they do next. Is Jacob going to get help? Are they going to move on? Who the fuck knows? There's a lot more stories to come out of SummerSlam than going into it. Next up, we're going to be talking about the greatest luchador of all time. That is the one, the only Dominik Mysterio, which had one of my favorite matches of the night. It was very much an Eddie Guerrero tribute night, and it should be an Eddie Guerrero tribute night after what's an absolute legend. It is 20 years since the Dominik Mysterio custody on a pole match, where, as we know, in the end, Rey Mysterio won that. And then Dominik Mysterio now has become the absolute living legend. I thought it was very, very clever, and I really do like the tribute that AJ Styles did with his trunks, with the shirt, with the car as well, with the lowrider and his son in the passenger seat as well, looking a bit like Dominik Mysterio with the blonde hair. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know whether that was his actual hair or it was just a coincidence. But I did find that slightly funny in my brain of the way Dominik Mysterio looked back then, with that blonde hair going into it. I will, and then if we're going to talk about the match as well, the Eddie Guerrero chair shot that happened when he smacked the chair on the floor and then rolled through the chair to AJ Styles, who then put his head through the chair, fell down. Referee didn't know what to do, and then we're going to roll it back now. If you remember Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, Eddie Guerrero tied his shoe loose, so when they went for the ankle lock, his foot would pop out of it, and was able to do the same thing here. When AJ Styles went for the calf crusher, his foot just popped out of the boot and was able to go on. And then that would then lead to an absolute incredible victory there for Dominik Mysterio, who carried on the tradition of him being the greatest of all time of luchadors of ever. Now we're going to get into what I'm going to class as match of the year of any company, anywhere, anytime. If this doesn't get a 5-star, then we know that that person is fucking biased. But we knew that already. But this is my 5-star match of the night, of the weekend, of the year. And it was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. This was the match that we were all looking probably to have at WrestleMania, but we finally had the absolute clinic that was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. It was a lovely tribute from Cody Rhodes, going about Dusty in his entrance. We then had old school John Cena entrance where it was just black and white Cena, but then turned into the colorful, we know the colors that John Cena's going to bring. Very much, very respectful to start off with, and then shake of the hand, and then just full paced metal mayhem. And that started from the beginning to the end. Cody Rhodes hitting a pile driver, John Cena bringing out all the sunset flip powerbomb onto the outside. We've also got a stat here. There were 9 tables broken, 12 ladders used, 2 ladders broken, 15 chairs used, 1 chair broken from the TLC match. Just come up on the post show that WWE have said. But anyway, back to the main event. Back to his old tricks, going through the stadium, suplex through the steel barricade, AA onto the ramp, and then going through the lift, holding him up and going through the lift. I thought that was a nice little entertainment moment. That was just like for the people going, look, let's have a little bit of fun with this street fight and do it this way. And I think that was the perfect thing to do it that type of way. I also feel like as well that this was the perfect John Cena Cody Rhodes match. You had Super Cena versus Super Rhodes, and I think that's probably the best way to describe that. Suplexed him through the ramp, then Cody Rhodes, untying the bottom buckle and using that against Cena, still couldn't put him down. An AA off the top rope, an STFU by Cena using the rope to choke Cody, thrown through the table, and then 3 crossroads, which was kicked out from John Cena. But in the end, he got a super Cody cutter through the table and then was able to pick up the victory, which now makes Cody Rhodes a 2-time WWE champion. And then did great respects inside of the ring, and they both absolutely deserve all of the love. And again, disclaimer, and this is the biggest disclaimer I'm going to give you, because I'm not talking about the person. There is a lawsuit still going out in the world, but we will not be discussing the lawsuit, as if we discuss it, we could be liable. We will not be discussing that. We will be discussing the absolute professional wrestler that is this guy. He is back inside of a WWE ring. We thought he was gone. We thought that we would never see him again. Something has happened for him to be allowed to come back, because there was a big fuss where he was taken out of the WWE 2K24. Was it 24 game? Where he was taken out at the last minute, and then it turned into the 25 game where he wasn't in it at all, and then all of a sudden he is now back inside of a WWE ring. I don't know if Cena had anything to do with that, because as I said earlier, it was Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, was one of Cena's toughest ever competitors. It was one of the hardest John Cena's has ever had to fight inside of a square ring. I think we're now going to be hitting the hits before we see the end of Cena. There is 13, maybe 12 now, 12 nights left of John Cena before he retires at the end of this year. I was getting a bit emotional tonight, knowing that we've just got those little few dates, knowing that we won't have that much John Cena in a WWE ring. But what I will say, it very much was passing the mantle from John Cena over to Cody Rhodes. You've got the ball, you run with it. I was expecting a little bit of Cody Rhodes maybe potentially turning heel, but it didn't happen. But that's absolutely fine, because we now have the ultimate white meat babyface moving forward. We also have the ultimate heel champion over on Raw, as we now have Seth friggin' Rollins as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, as Gunther is apparently now going to be taking a break after a suspected broken nose. That happened before SummerSlam. And then we've got champions, we've got new stories to be told. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair being crowned new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, hopefully taking that brand and those Tag Team Championships to another level and getting those women more and more on the card moving forward. We've got Clash in Paris coming up at the end of the month, and I will most probably be doing the post show for that, because that is a 45 minutes on a train. About an hour and a half. About an hour and a half on the train, I could get to Paris if I was in London. Let's say 2 hours from where I am, I could get to Paris. That's where I am. That's what I'm doing. But we're going to end the show here. We're going to be doing 2 outros. I will be doing my personal outro for my YouTube channel, and we will also be doing the outro for our local establishment. If you haven't already, and if you're watching this on any of the channels or Mark Talks Wrestling and Mark or our local establishment, down below in the ticker, you will be able to see all of the social media links for me. I have 3 YouTube channels. I have this channel, Mark Talks WWE. I have Mark Talks Football, and I have Mark Talks Men's Health. Mark Talks Men's Health is a weekly series where I sit down with either a man or a woman and we talk about men's mental health or any mental health struggles that people are having. On Mark Talks WWE, currently we are at the Build for Heatwave, where it will be the biggest matches and the largest matches we have ever had on a PLE. And on Mark Talks Football, we are trying to beat and win in China to gain our very first and only ever championship in China, where we've won things all around the world. And as we showed earlier on, halfway through this show, there was the our local establishment calendar, where we will be able to see things. And what I will do for you is, if you're new and if you just watched this to the end, I will replay that calendar for you. But what I will also do is, after that, play the outros. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. We will see you guys for more content coming your way, but we're Love with Care. My name's been Mark. You guys have been amazing, and peace.
Never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Force a calling that I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? No, Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet.